If you failed the SHRM exam, your first instinct is probably to grab those same books and dive right back into studying. Well, that's a mistake. I've seen this happen over and over these past few years. Test takers rush back right into study mode. You're trying not to lose the information that you've already learned, but you don't change anything, and so you fail again. I'm Angela Murray, SHRM SCP, SPHR, and your favorite HR coach. And today I'm going to break down 5 common mistakes that I see people make over and over again after they fail the SHRM exam. But most importantly, because that's what I do here, I'm not going to just tell you the mistakes. I'm also going to tell you how to avoid the mistakes so you can pass on your next try. So if you're retaking the SHRM exam in this next window, I'm going to save you months of frustration in this video. Let's get to it. Mistake number 1 is jumping straight back into studying without reflection. Studying harder doesn't guarantee passing. Studying smarter is what you need to do. And one of the things that you should have learned while studying is that the first step in solving any problem is information gathering or some kind of gap analysis. So when you jump back into studying too soon, you are emotionally drained. It means that you're not absorbing information efficiently and you haven't figured out what went wrong. So you're more likely to repeat that same mistake over again and lead you right back to where you are right now. So before you jump back into studying, you need time for reflection and you need to review your score report very in depth. SHRM gives you that data, so you need to use it. Use it to identify which sections were your weakest. Were your errors in behavioral competencies? Or did you have a problem with the technical HR knowledge? Or maybe just the situational judgment questions threw you for a loop. Then after you've done that, you need to analyze your study and test day experience. Ask yourself, did I struggle with time management on the exam? Did I second guess myself too much? Did I focus too much on memorization instead of actually trying to apply the information? Or did the clock just get to me? And what am I going to do next time? So instead of blindly restudying everything, focus on what actually needs the improvement. That way you prevent that study burnout before it even starts. So take a couple of weeks, maybe 1 to 2 weeks, no more than 2 weeks. You don't need more than 2 weeks. But take a couple of weeks to reflect on the exam before you create your new study plan. And that is going to make all the difference when you jump back in. Mistake number 2 is not addressing your knowledge gaps. So now that you know where you went wrong, the next thing you need to do is determine which of those things is going to hold you back. Remember, I told you the SHRM exam is not about knowing everything. You're not going to be able to memorize everything and pass this exam. It is about knowing what SHRM expects from you. So you're not going to start reviewing everything from scratch. You need to target your weakest areas. If you know that you knew the content, but the situational questions were just too long for you, or they were too complex, or they were too whatever they were, then practice those. If you ran out of time, practice time management. If you scored low in leadership, review leadership. The point is to study with precision. You are trying to build a focused study plan based on the SHRM BASC. So look at your weakest areas from your score report and align those with the BASC framework. Always make sure that you are prioritizing those behavioral competencies because that is a lot of where the test is going to come from, but it's also where a lot of people fail. So remember, you don't want to waste time restudying what you already know. You are trying to train your brain for those SHRM style questions. You're not trying to memorize terms. So focus your study time where it is actually going to matter for you and boost your score. If you're just worried about keeping yourself fresh on the other topics that you already know, you can just do a light review of those every couple of weeks. It's not something that you need to sit down with every day. And always be tracking your progress with those practice questions. Take your practice questions daily. That is going to help you to boost those weak areas. Make sure you're reviewing your questions, the rationale, and asking yourself, what am I supposed to be learning here? Why is this the right answer? What are the words that I should be looking for here? Why did this question trick me? Why did I get it wrong? Mistake number 3 is procrastination and overconfidence. So it is important not to jump back in too soon, but it's also equally important not to get too comfortable because that can quickly bring on procrastination. The longer you wait, the harder it is to get back into study mode. Some people take too long to restart and then they start thinking, well, I'll do it next week, and then it just turns on to full-on resistance and you never start. So you need to still hold yourself accountable. Set that retake date as soon as you possibly can. Look at SHRM's next available testing window, pick a realistic date, put it on the calendar, and then set your study plan. Deadlines create urgency, and you're going to need all of that kind of accountability for your second time around. Mistake number 4 is overloading yourself with too many resources. Remember this, more study materials does not mean better studying. Really, it just means more confusion because you're trying to sort through everything. I've seen so many people throw the baby out with the bathwater, but you don't need to do a complete overhaul of your study resources because now you have experience and you'll be able to better recognize which resources work for you and which did not work for you. It's okay to add another 1 or another 2 things to replace resources that you've determined that were just absolutely not helpful. But don't go into panic mode and start buying too many things and buying everything that somebody else said worked for them. It is not necessarily going to work for you, so stick to the plan. A few solid resources is the best strategy. Also, this is a good time to mention my 12-week live study course just started this past Saturday, and you still have 2 weeks to jump into that. We had a great first class. My 12-week class is live instructor-led meetings, the instructor being me, of course. And this is a good idea if you want to ask questions in real time and you want to have someone to break down for you the really complex topics right then and there. But I do also have a self-study complete edition study course. This does not include the live classes. It is self-study video lessons, but it has all the reading, the flashcards, the practice questions, visual aids, everything that you'll need, so you won't need to purchase anything else. So go to my website, hrexamprepwithangela.com, or you can just email me at hrexamprep1@gmail.com if you have more questions. But either way, get in the class. Now, the final mistake is don't throw out your mental health. A drained brain is not an effective brain. You cannot pour from an empty cup. The stress of failing makes you anxious, and it does kill your motivation at first. So a lot of times people tend to just withdraw and not want to study at all. And that's why it's important to give yourself some time off before you start creating a new plan. You need some time. Use that time to do something that boosts your energy, something that boosts your motivation, and reflect on why the exam is so important to you. What does it mean for you personally? What does it mean? What does it mean for your career? And then acknowledge those things wholeheartedly before you jump back in. From this point forward, start to visualize exam success. Imagine that you are walking in and that you pass, because mindset is just as important as your study strategy. So you have to get that right. Failing the SHRM exam is not a dead end. Think of it as just like kind of your learning curve. Now you know more. Study harder, study smarter, you'll pass the next time. And I also want to know, what's your biggest challenge right now as it pertains to retaking the exam? I want to directly address your challenges before I start my study strategy series that's coming up. I just want to make sure that this time you are set up for success. So go ahead, drop your biggest challenges in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications, because I do have that study series coming up in March, and that is something that I think you're going to want to not miss, and it's going to help you get on track for this next go round.